Hi, and welcome back to the Crafty Author. My name is Anissa. I am the Crafty Author, and welcome to my quilting room. Today we are going to make a memory pillow. So I have been hired to make a memory pillow for a very special person and her family. So I am going to be doing that, and I'm going to show you how I have done mine. I'm going to show you the finished product first so that you'll know what we're going to do. And then I'm going to show you how I put it all together and tell you how you can also make one yourself for a loved one or maybe for you. So first of all, here is what one of them looks like. This is made from the clothing of the person's loved ones. This is from their mom and dad. And I pulled the buttons off of the little shirts and sewed one of the buttons on each one of these pillows so that they would have that. I also made it so that it's an envelope style pillow so that it can be washed if something gets spilled onto it. So I did do this with my embroidery machine, and today we will be working on the dream machine. This is the second pillow that was made. They are all different, and yet they are all the same. They were made with all the same materials, but just different. So, and there's that one. I just wanted to show them to you because they're really cool. I'm just getting ready to prepare for the last memory pillow that I'm working on. I'm going to be doing some embroidery. And so I'm just preparing my hoop with my fabric and my stabilizer at this point. And so the design is 8 by 12. In case you're wondering, I'm using my monster hoop, my magnetic hoop. It's just easier to do the hooping with this. So much easier. This is my water-soluble stabilizer. I like to just put a little, I like to put some on here. I just use a little pin to hold that in place, in case you're wondering. And that is what I'm doing right now. We are ready to start this now. It's going to take approximately 70 minutes to stitch this design out. Here's the stitch out for the embroidery design that I'm working on here. As you can see, approximately 69 minutes, and it's starting. So, all right, so I'm done stitching out the embroidery piece, and now I'm going to take off my water-soluble stabilizer. Try and get as much of this off as I possibly can. And then I'm going to come to the back side, and I'm going to do my tearaway. You want to take your spray bottle, and you want to just spray it. And the water will actually dissolve this, but I'm going to use just a little piece of my scrap cloth and just go in here and rub that out. And it rubs right out. It almost like just kind of dissipates. Let's see if I can show you a little bit better here. Sorry about that. A little bit closer. All right, so I'm just going to give it a little spray here. Now, I let this dry overnight before I do anything with it, so, but this is what they look like when they're dry. So you can't even see it anymore. Here I am laying out the pieces the way I want them to appear at the bottom of this. So I'm just randomly choosing a couple of pieces. They're all 3 inches wide, and they all differ in length.
But as you can see here, I'm just placing them along that bottom edge, trying to figure out which color scheme I want and which way it needs to go. You can see that I come up a little bit short right here on the end. And so I just kind of improvise and cut a smaller piece off of the red and put that at the edge there to make sure that I'll have enough for the bottom row.
I have the first row sewn, as you can see, and I did press the seams opened on the back. So I do try to do that. And then now I'm just going to try and piece my sides going up. And I think for this side, I'm going to go with this and also this white piece. And I know it's going to be too long, but it's better to be too long than too short, because I feel like I'm a little bit too short here. And I probably need to add another one. And so that's what I'll do. I'll actually just cut a small piece off of this white and just attach it down here. So this is really a scrappy, it's a really scrappy way to do the memory pillow. But as you can see, it just turns out so incredibly beautiful. I need to trim all of these down to 2.5-inch blocks. So I use my seam allowance here to measure that out. Now I know I'm going to lose this top part, but that's okay. I just wanted to make sure that I have enough fabric up here to do what I'm going to do. So I'm going to line up at 2.5 right here on this seam with my ruler. And I'm going to just give it a little slice here. Okay. And I'm going to do that all the way around. So now I've got everything squared up to 2.5 inches all the way around. And now we're ready to put on our sides. So again, these are 3 inches wide. And I just cut them at a length that I knew would fit this side perfectly. So I'm just going to go and I'm going to sew on this side to here, onto these 2 side pieces. And then when I'm done doing that, I will press these sides out and I will sew on the top piece, which is this one, and the bottom piece. All right, so I now have all my sides on here, and now we're going to trim these down to 1.5 inches. So again, I'm going to take my ruler, and I'm just going to line up on that 1.5 inch line on my seam. Except for this time, I'm doing it on this upper outer seam, and right here. 1.5. That's what I'm cutting out. Right, so our pillow top is actually finished at this point. So now what we need to do is we need to quilt it. So I'm going to get the batting, and that's what we're going to do next. We're going to go ahead and we're going to quilt this. I have a large oversized piece of batting here. And I purposely cut it way too big so that I will have enough in case this decides to shrink. You can use 505 spray. You can pin it. I'm going to just put a little bit of 505 spray right here. Not too much because I don't need really all that much here. And just flatten that out. And then I'll do that on this side as well. I do have the scrim piece facing downward. So I have the soft side up, scrim side down. And now we're just going to take this over to the sewing machine, and I'm going to use one of my machine's decorative stitches to start stitching this down. Right, so the quilting is done. You can see my squiggle lines there and also in here. So now we're going to prepare the pillow for its final preparation. We're going to make the back part of it, but first we need to trim this. Trim all the way around the batting. I'm just going to trim off all the excess batting. Batting is done. Now what I want to do is I'm going to take a moment and show you. So I told you early on that I have a button that I pulled off of each of the shirts that were given to me. And so now I'm going to sew those button. I'm going to, not those buttons, the button. I'm going to sew a button onto here. And I want to do this before I sew around the pillow and attach the backing because it just makes it easier. But here's that little tiny button. And so I'm just going to put it up here in this corner like so. And I'm going to just hand sew it on. And kind of hard to see when I'm scrunching all this fabric. So I will sew this on real quick and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. And now the button is sewn on. All right, so I have two pieces of fabric that I cut at 22 by 17. So I want this to be the longer way. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of my pieces right here and I'm going to fold it over probably about 1.5 inches. And I'm doing it larger just because I have so much extra fabric with this, and also because I like the way it looks with these pillows in particular. And I want the opening to be much easier to put the pillows in and to pull out. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. And I'm just folding it over, again, 1.5 inches. I'm just guessing. Doesn't have to be perfect. You can do it less if you want to. Okay, so I'm gonna just press this again because I'm folding it over. And now we're gonna go over to the sewing machine and I'm gonna stitch this. And I'm gonna use that squiggly stitch along this edge here. And then I'm gonna do it again up here at this top edge. I'm gonna do that to both of these pieces. And then we'll start assembling the pillow. Okay, so I have sewn both of these pieces like so. See that? So our backing is going great. Just like that. All right, so next what we want to do is we're going to put our, the front part of our pillow facing up at us. And then we're going to take this part where we sewed the nice side. We're going to put right sides facing each other. And we're just going to lay that flat on top. Then we're going to take the other one, the other piece, and we're going to put that right sides facing up, or facing each other. And so you should have the wrong side facing up at you for your backing. And so I put this one up probably about 3 inches. So right there is where I have my first one. Here's my second. So about 3 inches is what I give myself there. And then you're going to want to pin. So I'm going to pin right here. You'll definitely want to use pins for this because you don't want this moving around while you're trying to sew. And now I'm ready to take this over to my machine. And what I'm going to do is I am going to just stitch all the way around on my batting here. And I'm just going to use the batting edge as my guide. I'll just line up my foot and just sew around that. All right, so I've stitched all the way around, as you can see there, right here. So now I'm just going to trim off all of this excess fabric, and you can use either scissors or a rotary cutter to do this. I'm just going to use scissors right now. Here is the moment of truth. Oh, and I also always trim my corners. It just helps them to reduce the bulk there, and also it just helps it to turn. So that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to trim that. So I'm going to reach in. I'm just going to twist that out, pull that out there, try and poke out this corner that I have. I'll do the same here. And then I will do the same the other end. Pull both out. I'm going to take my little turning tool instead of a chopstick, but if you have a chopstick, that'll work as well. I do love this turning tool. It really does work quite well, I have to tell you. Better than I could have ever imagined. So if you don't have one, you should really invest in one because it's pretty amazing. Next thing I do is I pull my seam back like so, because I want that seam to rest flat. And the way you do that is by just pulling it and running your finger along that edge. And then you can just kind of flatten it. And you don't have to do that, but I like to do it. So I feel like it's just the extra step that just kind of finishes it off. And then if you want to, you can press. You can give your pillow a press around the edges, which I will go ahead and do real quick. Okay. That's what it looks like on the front. And here's what it looks like on the back. And now we're going to put our pillow in here. And I'm just going to put these corners in. This is why I wanted my opening much bigger so it doesn't tear when you're pushing your pillow in. Push the pillow in there, just kind of work it a little bit. Push the corners up. Pull it down. Just fluff it, work with it, and voila, you are done. So that is what we have. This is the end product. Isn't it beautiful? It turned out so amazing. And fluff it up a little more at the top there. Just turned out just beautiful, in my opinion. This is what it looks like on the back side. So like I said, you can actually take this off and wash it. I would like to thank Penny for allowing me to share this with everyone as a tutorial. And I hope you love it because I think it turned out beautiful. And the other thing I wanted to let you know is that this would make a great gift for Mother's Day. So it doesn't have to be in memory of somebody who has passed away. It could be your clothes from when you were a child, or maybe your mother's grandchild. You can use some of their baby clothes and stuff and make a pillow for your mom. The sky is the limit with these things. So, but I was thinking about that and I thought, gosh, maybe I should make my mom one out of my kids' clothes. So anyway, if you would like to follow me on social media, the links are down below in the description box. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to click that little bell to subscribe. You'll get notified each and every time that I upload a new video. I upload new videos on Tuesdays and Fridays, and keep on crafting. Happy Mother's Day. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.